everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Making a Difference in Mental Health. I'm Danielle here in the studio. I have Wendy here with me. Hey, Wendy, how are you? I haven't seen you in a while, but I'm glad that you're back.
Hey Danielle, it's great to be here. Yes, I've been outside the office for a few times and not able to be in the podcast studio. But I'm glad I'm here virtually. I was looking forward to this interview, and I'm so excited to talk to our guest today.
Yeah, so speaking of our guest, I have one of my very special colleagues here with the Prince George's County Community Schools team, Miss Yashira Brooks. Yashira, how are you? And we're so glad to have you on today.
Welcome, Yashira.
Good afternoon, Wendy. Good afternoon, Danielle. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate you considering me on today's podcast.
We're very delighted to have you, and we are excited to hear what you have to tell our audience. And today is a continuation of our modality series, meaning what do really therapists do when they're in session with clients, and what kind of techniques and skills they use to help our clients. So this is a continuation of that, and so we're going to be talking about DBT today. And so, are you ready, Yashira?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so we're going to kick it off. Just tell us a little bit about what exactly is DBT. But first off, just introduce yourself to the audience. Tell your audience what you do for ADH and how you got here.
All right. I'm Yashira Brooks. I work out of the Greenbelt office. I initially started as an intern around 2013 while I was working at the American Psychological Association. Back then, I was working with clients in the homes and within the community. After I graduated, after a year, ABH was very attractive as far as the professionalism and how I can grow in my career. So I returned full time. And now I actually have two positions kind of at the job. So as Danielle mentioned before, I'm a community schools therapist. This is my fourth year in that position, and I'm an outpatient community therapist as well, providing mostly virtual. I'm certified in DBT, which is why we're here today, as well as trauma-focused CBT. And I'm very excited because this week I actually enrolled to become a certified yoga instructor. Yes. It's a 2-hour program, and I get to, I'm going to use it to mix with my clients in regards to meditation and mindfulness. And I'm hoping to bring to ABH maybe a group session for trauma-informed yoga.
Yes, Yashira. Oh my goodness. I feel like we just broke a story. Like, this is something, I'm excited, Yashira. Oh my goodness. That is so amazing. That's exciting. Congratulations. And I can't wait to participate.
Right. I mean, this is what I love about ABH. We have clinicians who just go beyond the basics. Like we have a play therapist she's a certified animal play therapist, and she brings her little doggy to work every day to work with children in play therapy. So this is the great thing about ABH. We really go far and beyond, and we're really a creative company. And so congrats, Yashira. That's excellent that you're going to be able to combine all of your skills and knowledge with the yoga. I'm gonna have to come too.
Thank you. I'm hoping to be certified by May, so we can, because it's self-paced, so I can advertise the entire month of June, and hoping that I can have a meetup spot somewhere at a park, so we can have a month or 2-month informed trauma yoga sessions.
Very nice.
That would be very good. That is so good. Yeah, so thank you, Yashira. I know that you're certified in a number of things. This is our modality series. So can you please let our audience know, for lay people or those who are just interested in therapy and learning the different types of modalities, what exactly is DBT?
So DBT stands for Dialectical Behavior Therapy. It was adapted from CBT, where it teaches clients how to regulate their emotions and their behavior using coping strategies, while at the same time learning how to accept things that they can't change in their life. such as behavior patterns, interactions with others, etc. And what they can change, we provide strategies to teach them how to change.
Yashira, I want to ask you that, you mentioned CBT, TFCBT, and now DBT. So can you, for our audience, lay people who don't really understand these modalities, the major component of it, and, how did you pick focusing on DBT?
Well, CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, is working with clients to help them change, challenge their thoughts and behavior patterns. Of course, the negative and undesired ones. Again, DBT does the same thing and taking an additional step farther and helping them learn how to accept what they can't. Um, so I actually got into becoming certified. I had a meeting with our CEO last year, and she referred to me. I don't know if she was just trying to be nice or not, but she referred to me as one of the diamonds in the rough within the organization because I'm quite known for providing resources. I have a wide variety of clients in school, outside of school, and I'm able to adapt my theoretical orientations based off age, race, ethnicity, etc. I came across the DBT email after struggling with some of my clients
Mm-hmm.
who often feel stuck. They say, Miss Yashira, I'm using my coping skills. I'm trying to challenge my thoughts and everything is working, but I just don't know what else to do. And I felt inadequate professionally. So I'm always trying to find things. And I think DBT just called my name when I got
Mm-hmm.
an email from ABH,
Mm-hmm.
which is actually one of the things I love about the opportunities that were provided, whether it's free or discounted rates. So I did more research on DBT just to make sure that it was worth my time, that it would um, be a good tool for my clients. And it seems like it was. So I registered and here I am certified.
Yes, here you are. Yashira, you brought up so many good points. I think one thing that I'm going to kind of give you your flowers right now. I do consider you one of the resource queens on our team. I'm always referring people to you, and it is so true to who you are that you almost have something for everything. And so I'm glad that you took it a step further. And I do think that what was it the phrase again? Diamond, a diamond
Diamond
of
in
the
the rough.
Yes.
yes, I do think that that is true because once we get to the root of it, you have gems for us. You have so many resources,
Right.
and and we're so glad that you took upon yourself to yes consider as therapists. I mean, you bring up another good point. I have to consider this as a therapist. Will this be beneficial towards me, and then also for the population that you eventually serve? And so we're so glad. That you decided to move forward with that because I'm pretty sure you're servicing so many within the community, your school community, as well as the community at large. And that brings us to our next question, actually. How effective for those who you do practice DBT with, how effective is that, or is it for your clients?
It's actually very, very effective. Surprisingly, within the school setting, it's most effective with my young male students. I would say between fourth graders up to eighth grade, they carry so much on them and they feel like they can't talk to anyone. And everyone is always telling them to take deep breaths and use all of these coping skills. And they're like, but they aren't working. And they go through things that they don't feel comfortable with disclosing. And I have some students that we started off in the end of August and they've been discharged now because progress has been made. It's that piece of accepting your reality for what it is and working with them on um, building a life worth living for and accepting their limitations, their challenges, their stressors, and giving them the strategies. DBT has four modules that we typically use. There's mindfulness, which again, I can't wait to connect the yoga to that.
Mhm.
Interpersonal communication skills, emotional regulation, and one of my personal favorites, the stress tolerance. that works a lot and is the, I feel like personally and professionally is the most effective module in regards to working with my clients, because they learn how to tolerate their stressors, their triggers. I provide them the psychoeducation on how stress, negative encounters with people, anxiety, depression, etc. It's almost inevitable. Something is going to happen. And
Mhm.
when given that psychoeducation to my clients, regardless of age, gender, etc., it's at that point where they start learning that there is hope as long as I
Mhm.
accept what I can't change. And taking the steps to do that, they feel supported. Um, and it's putting the whole piece together. So it's like I'm taking them that extra step past the CBT. And overall, they learn how to live their life in that moment, like live their best life in that moment. Don't let
Right.
the stressors get to you. We're talking about the here and now. The past was in yesterday, the future, we don't need any anxiety for that because we're focused on right now. And that really, really has helped, again, predominantly my male clients, but all my clients for the most part.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
really love that, Yashira, because you said a buzz phrase that we as clinicians use all the time: psychoeducation. And
Mm-hmm.
really, that's, I always say to my clinicians, you guys and people I work with, that therapy shouldn't be a secret. Clients should not come to therapy wondering what's going to happen, what are they saying, what are they doing. And the psychoeducation is a big key to teach our clients what we're doing so that they feel a part of the process. So I love that that's a component in all of them: DBT, CBT, TFCBT, because it's all about behaviors, feelings, and emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Mhm.
And yeah,
And and Yashira, you said the word hope. Wendy, I think we've been talking about hope since maybe the first or second episode.
yes, we have.
And maybe that's one of the themes of this particular season, is that we want to encourage hopefulness and we want to
Yeah.
inspire our clients, the community, to have hope. And you share the other thing that you've highlighted that struck something within me is that you're working with a particular group, an age group and demographic, young males. And this is something that we would love to hear more about and talk more about, where you're providing a space through these techniques, through DBT, for young males to be able to tap into their emotions, but also be able to understand, like you said, yesterday's the past, the future, we don't have to worry about that. Let's work with the here and now for them to be able to journey every day, right,
Mhm.
to a point and moment of just being able to function for the day. So that was really powerful.
Right,
Thank you.
Mhm.
right. So, Yashira, we always like to wrap up with our guests, asking them tips, little things that they can leave for our audience in terms of resources, education, etc., so that that hopefully they're listening to our podcast and then they're getting some ideas and they're things that they can go to do on their own to get help as well. And as Danielle said, it seems like since January this year, it's been a message of hope. We are
Mhm.
really pushing for people to go get help when they need help. And it's okay to get help when you need help. So, what would you tell our audience about just resources for DBT, or any tips regarding just getting mental health treatment in general?
Well, obviously, getting the mental health treatment is the best
Mhm.
recommendation or resource that they can get. But for those who may be a little bit hesitant or skeptical, sometimes there's some stigmas associated with mental health. It's
Mhm.
normalized, but still there's some populations or individuals who just don't feel comfortable yet with opening up and disclosing things about themselves. Um, but I use DBT selfhelp.com for a lot of my students and clients outside of the school. And I also provide DBT cheat sheets. It's a usually one or two, one is best. It's a cheat sheet with the 4 modules. So it gives you examples of the strategies for each module. So, for example, for mindfulness, there's a wise mind activity where you're challenging your irrational thoughts. You have an intuitive thinking, and you reason with yourself. You focus on what are facts, the reality of things, and you try to make sure that you're regulating your emotions to make sure that you're making a decision based off of the reality of things and not your emotions. Um, just it's just broken down, and then a lot of these strategies, they can be easy to remember because they're cute little acronyms.
Mm-hmm.
One is stop. That's a distress tolerance strategy. So S, stop what you're doing. T, step back, take a break. Obviously, using some common strategies. O, observe. Observe your environment. Observe the body language of the other
Mhm.
person, their face expressions, etc. And then
Mm-hmm.
P, proceed mindfully. So that's a great strategy. And then with mindfulness, using your five senses. Um, and there's another one in for interpersonal communication, because that's a good piece of DBT that CBT doesn't use, of how to relate to others and understanding that we kind of give and take based off of our interaction. So if you have a negative vibe when I encounter you, you might rub off on me, and I'm going to have a negative vibe too.
Mm.
But for the interpersonal effectiveness strategy, a good one that I've used a lot is give. So that one is give. G, be gentle and nice with your interactions. I, so that you're interested as you're actively listening, because a lot of people respond much better when they feel like they're actively being heard. V is validate, validate feelings, emotions to show that you understand, have that compassion, that empathy, that sympathy. And then E, easy manner. So using humor or making little jokes and being relatable. Those are great, effective interpersonal communication skills that also are helping with my clients as well using DBT. I hope
Wow.
that's enough resources.
Listen, we told y'all she's the resource queen, so
Yeah, we
that
weren't
was
lying. We were
yes,
not
that
lying.
was more than enough. As a matter of fact, Yashira, you might have to email me some of those after the show,
Of
Right.
so we can try
course.
to use them. But amazing, amazing, Yashira. Thank you so much for all that you do for the community, all that you do for our youth, the adolescents, even some of the adults. I will put my reserve spot in for your yoga class now, so that I can participate and support. But this was amazing. Wendy, what are your thoughts before we close the show?
I think it's great. I think we're going to have very well educated clients. And I think that should be a goal of any mental health agency. Like I said, I really believe that the process of therapy should not be a secret, that it's engaging both the therapist and the client in the process. And I think it just makes for a better experience for everyone. And so, yes, Yashira, you are fabulous. Thank you for sharing all of your knowledge. And please put my name above Danielle's for your yoga class.
You know what, Wendy? We should do that for one of our professional development days.
Yes,
Nothing
I
Absolutely.
certified,
think
of
we should do
course.
that.
Right. The weather's getting better, so I will write that down for our team to try out your yoga mindfulness
Yes.
DBT session. So thank you again, Yashir. We were so privileged to have you a part of our team, part of ABH, working with our students, working with our clients, and spreading your knowledge. And thank you so much for participating in our podcast today.
You guys are welcome, and thank you very much again for giving me this opportunity.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, everyone, this wraps up another show. I'm Danielle.
I'm Wendy.
This is Making a Difference in Mental Health, where we're always striving to make a difference in mental health. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Take care.